Alrighty, here's an intro video for a 10-acre tract, just a little over 10 acres, outlined in red here, with direct frontage, over 300 feet of direct frontage on the Niangua River by Bennett Springs State Park in Dallas County, Missouri. This is within the White Ribbon Trout Fishing section. So in addition to the great bass fishing and all that other fun stuff, you can actually fish for rainbow trout and brown trout from the property in the river here. It's pretty fantastic. So what we've got, let's start it off here. Okay, so this shaded area you see, this is the Barclay Conservation Area. That's a little over 400 acres of conservation land that you can use for hunting and recreation and whatnot. It borders the river for about a mile and a half here. The property itself, outlined in red, borders the river directly across from the conservation area. So it's a pretty unique situation in that not only if you cross the river do you have access to all that conservation land, but you've also got a private setting where no one's ever going to build over there because it is the conservation land. So pretty unique. I mean, basically the view. Say you build down here by the river, your view is not going to change. It's always going to be that beautiful conservation land. At least as far as I know, I've never heard of the state of Missouri selling any major chunks of conservation land anywhere. If anything, they add to it. In fact, so this is track 17. There are two other tracks, track 18 here, track 19 here, and then this area here was actually about 2 years ago purchased by the conservation area. So this map, on MapRight, the layer needs to be updated because the conservation area now is not only on the east side, it's not only this area, it encompasses all of this, it encompasses most of this right up here. So they're actually adding to the conservation area. But anyway, onto the property. Well, almost onto the property. If you look at the very south end of the map, you can see this kind of roadway within the conservation area. That is an awesome access point to the Niangua River. It's completely free. It's got a big parking lot, very nice kind of gravel beach area, as well as a boat launch where you can access the river. So if you want to do a really fun, quick float, like a miniature float trip or a fishing trip, you can put in your canoe or kayak or raft right here, and you float just not even a mile downstream, and you can take out on your very own property. So it's pretty darn unique. Okay, so now we can zoom in. So to get to the property, you're taking Marigold Drive to the north. The property does have direct frontage on Marigold along its east side. There is currently no driveway. You're welcome to install one if you want, but otherwise, a couple ways you can access this property. One way is to continue north on Marigold for about, I don't know, quarter mile, take a left, go through the gate, and follow this gravel road. It'll go down a hill to the bottom field. You'll take another left onto the secondary easement road, and that leads directly across the property. Or alternately, there is another road easement along the eastern side of the property, and if we zoom in a little bit, maybe we can see that better. So the yellow line you see is the road easement. So the property has frontage on Marigold, and then just a little back from Marigold, there's this other road easement, and you can access that about a quarter mile to the south here. When you're going out there, you'll see an old garage or shop on the left, part of the original homestead. And just right after that, you'll see the private road that goes in, and that goes across track 18 and across track 17 as well, your property, and then continues on. And I believe you can access it from the north. If not, you will be able to at some point. But it's obviously not a public road. It's just a private road easement to give these property owners, including you, access to this side of your property without having to mess with putting in an approach or a driveway or whatnot, because it does rise up from Marigold. So you've got access to the east side of the property there. It actually goes up a little bit. It crests right here, and you've got a large open, it's not open, a large wooded flat area, and then it starts to slope down as you get down to the river. So as long as we're doing that, let's do the topo map. If you can read a topo, this makes sense. If not, it probably just looks really confusing. But basically, the lines on the topo map indicate elevation changes. On this topo map, like most of them, the area between two lines is about 20 feet. The darker lines are only there to show 100-foot intervals. So from this dark line to this dark line, total of about 100 feet. So from the county road, it rises up a little bit. This is more or less a large flat area with maybe a little bit of a heightened area here. Um, so big, open, I don't know why I keep saying open. I mean to say flat, large flat area. It's all wooded actually. And then as you continue to move southwesterly, it starts to drop down. This would definitely be called somewhat steep, although certainly not a bluff. I have walked down that once or twice. As you get more toward the river, it actually starts to level out to a somewhat level area here. And then once you get past the easement road down toward the river itself, it's sloping down again and then slopes down at the water. So take a look at the drone video as well. Come on out and see with your own eyes if you want to. Um, Quite a few people tell us that they've learned more from our drone videos uh, than they did making a trip to the property. So just throwing that out there that when you're looking at a property, if you can see a drone video, most people tend to really like that. So very usable. Again, we've got the secondary easement road coming across here. We've got setbacks in place from the roads, from the existing roads for access and also for a utility easement. So power is nearby and the easements are in place along the roadways if you want power run to the property now or in the future. Okay, back to the Google map. So the tracks out here were logged within about the last 1 to 2 years, certainly not clear cut. I think this aerial shows it really well. The drone video will show it really well. Also, in that the east side, there really was not much logging. You'll find a lot of trees, which is nice because one of the better building sites, if you want a large flat site, is right about here. So obviously you'll have to remove a little bit of timber to get your actual house or site or whatnot, but then you have a large flat area. As you go southwesterly, a little past the middle, that's where it was logged a little more heavily, as you can see in this photo. And that kind of continues more or less to the river. I mean, it certainly wasn't clear cut. There are quite a few trees left, but they did harvest the more commercial white oak and red oak. So it gives you some other possibilities or other building sites. I mean, all over this property. It depends on what you're looking for. You've got flat, you've got sloped. If you were to build up here and clear out some of this timber, you could have a beautiful view of the river valley and the conservation area on the other side. So yeah, super nice. Like you see here, 349 feet of direct river frontage on a very, very special section of the Niangua River. There are very few places in Missouri or elsewhere where you can actually successfully fish for trout. And this rainbow and brown trout in this section of river. Also, I've been told, just to keep piling special things on top of one another. If you look here, the Barclay Conservation Area is so named because of the Barclay Spring, which is right here. If we switch to Topo Map, you can see it a little better. That's the actual Barclay Spring. A nice cold freshwater spring that comes out of the ground and feeds into the Niangua River right in this area. So here's the Barclay Spring coming in just a few hundred feet downriver from the property. And we've been told that the trout fishing specifically right there is fantastic because the trout love the cool water of that spring where it joins the Niangua River. So yeah, I mean, pretty fantastic. Extremely popular section of river. I am not aware of a more popular section of river, not just for the fishing, but also for the floating, for the kind of the amenities nearby. As soon as you go downstream a little bit, downriver, I guess, you've got One-Eyed Willie's Resort, Maggard Canoe and Campground, Ho Hum Resort, just all over the place because of the popularity of this specific section of river. So during the weekends in the summer, you'll have quite a few canoes and kayaks and rafts coming down that section of river. During the week itself, not so much. And then actually in the off season, it's probably quite quiet. So you've got a little bit of everything out here. Super nice property. We were so excited to be able to do this project and offer it to you. It's really not likely we'll ever have anything again on the white ribbon trout fishing section of the Niangua River. So if you've been waiting for a really special one, this definitely warrants a good close look. So track 17, directly across from the conservation, 300 plus feet of river frontage, multiple building sites, multiple access points. Wow, super nice property. Yeah, check us out at InstantAcres.com. You can give us a call in the office, or you can shoot us an email at sales@InstantAcres.com. But ultimately, if you go to the actual website, InstantAcres.com, you can see if this property is still available. And if it's not, you can check out some of the other awesome tracks that we may have. InstantAcres.com.